The 2005 hurricane season emerged as the busiest ever recorded. A total of 23 named storms had formed by early November, causing 11 federal disaster declarations. The season has established new records for the most named storms and hurricanes in a single year. Aside from the devastation on the Gulf Coast caused by Hurricanes Rita and Katrina, one of the net results was a season of surf we'll be talking about for years to come.
A hurricane is a giant weather machine. In areas near the equator, there's plenty of heat energy during certain months of the year, and that can keep a hurricane going. And there are warm streams of water. For example, the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream takes warm water into the Gulf of Mexico and provides a perfect fuel source for the heat the hurricane needs. Another reason a hurricane will enter the Gulf of Mexico is simply because of the rotation of the Earth. A hurricane might form in the Caribbean, it might form off the coast of Africa, it might even form somewhere in the central Atlantic Ocean. But as the Earth continues to revolve, then the hurricane tends to move.
I've been surfing for about 38 years. Seen every hurricane season since '70, I guess. This last hurricane season was the absolute best I've ever seen. I've been kind of describing it as we got about 4 or 5 swells of the decade in one hurricane season.
It was the most incredible season of surf Texas has ever seen. Waves climbed to record heights of 18 feet and more. And for the first time ever, even professional surfers were making Texas their destination of choice.
Yeah, I got a call from Brian Nevins and jumped on a plane, went to Texas, flew into Houston, and I think we went to Galveston, met up with Sam Hammer and Matt Keenan, a couple other their friends that were also chasing hurricanes. I think all of us have been to Texas once or twice, but this is kind of the best we were going to get it.
On August 28th, Katrina, one of the deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history, was heading straight for the Gulf Coast. By less than 300 miles, Texas narrowly escapes the massive destruction the storm brings. Surfers tell their bosses they're heading for the beach.
I met up with Josh Hoyer, Sam Hammer, and Matt Keenan. There was a few other guys from the East Coast, and we went to check the surf. We decided to surf the flagship. It was breaking way past the T-head. Pretty big sets were coming in real clean. All the guys were surfing really well. Josh was ripping. Oh, they were all stoked they came in. Well, the surf started dropping pretty quick. after about 12 o'clock. Then we headed down to Surfside. It was pretty fun. It was a little smaller. Actually, it was a lot smaller, but really clean. Probably 3 to 4 foot ground swell still coming in for a couple more hours after that. And then by that evening, the surf was totally flat.
Located on the southern tip of Texas, South Padre caught some of the largest surf ever photographed on the Gulf Coast.
I ended up in the boat because I'd torn all the ligaments in my foot a week before, and so I couldn't surf. So I thought, well, next best thing is to document it, go out and get some photos. Got my boat, got my camera, my gear, and headed out the channel. And on the way out, I'm rounding the end of the channel, and there's Bruce Wood. I mean, it's just barely light. He's out there by himself. He had paddled out the channel around. The jetties is a mile long, so when you're out at the end of the jetties and around, you're a mile from the beach. He had paddled in the dark in the channel. He's a charger. He held his board up in the air to show me that he had the right board, because we had surfed during Dennis, and he was on a longboard, and it just, on the bigger sets, you just like an airplane wing. So he ended up with a nice gun Rhino chaser. And so I came around and checked out the swell and set up, and trying to stay out of harm's way, and started taking shots of Bruce, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, these Mackin sets would come through, easy 20-foot faces. The one picture of Bruce that's been on all the pic photos and the internet and all that's not even the biggest wave of the day, by far not the biggest wave. There was some he was dropping in on that were easy 5-6 foot bigger than that, solid 20-foot faces. Some other guys would come and go. There would be some guys that would paddle around on little boards. A first set would come in, they'd disappear, you'd never see them again. The only guy that was able to hang all morning really was Bruce. And then the tow-in guys from Brownsville, they finally end up out there with a tow board, or not a tow board, just a regular board. They were on their little 6'3", and they started towing in and trying to tow in, and successfully towed into several waves. There's one picture with a guy sitting up on his board looking at the wave. That's Mike Gonzalez, one of the tow guys, and he had been dropped. He had just finished riding a wave, paddling back out. His buddy on the skis hauling ass because there's a giant set, coming in. You can see it coming. I swing wide so I can get a picture, and he moves out. Well, then Mike's just checking this big wave out, just not believing it. And then, of course, I have to haul Bud out and go around and wait for the big sets, and then I come back in and set up again to get more pictures.
Cruising to the beach in my piece of shit. Got my supple jeans in and belly fits. So pulling down on the flood.
Most of us don't realize that Texas surfing has roots that go as far back to Galveston in the 1930s, when Doc Paskowitz and his friends made the rounds. Then, in the mid-1960s, guys like Pat McGee, B.J. Williamson, and Eric Rinkoff began to promote the sport.
In 1965, I opened Bay Surf Shop, which carried boards and clothing. It was there was a couple of surf shops open right after me, but my shop had the most surfboards. I carried Kahn, Rick, Bing, Jacobs, Gordon and Smith, Hansen, Challenger, and some Tom Overlands when the shortboards came in. Bay Surf Shop had a surf team for each different manufacturer, and we usually won all the contests. In 1968, we sold out of all the shops together over 8,000 surfboards.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
course, at Surfside, we had the Octagon back then. That was one of the major landmarks. But the beach, you would drive straight down the highway. Of course, there was no red light in Surfside at that time. Drive straight across to the beach and turn right and drive all the way down to the jetty. That beach was a good 150 yards wide there. There were dunes in between the houses and the beach. There were places to park and set up volleyball nets and play and have a good time. I shouldn't admit this, but I've cut a lot of donuts out there on that beach in the past. A number of people have who are probably watching this film right now.
In the early 60s, there were surf movies on TV and at the movies, and we were all interested in surfing. I started my surf shop as a freshman in high school by responding to ads in one of the surfer magazines. At that point, the surf contests weren't very well organized. We didn't start organizing and getting really structured with the Surfing Association. At one point, we had contests with as many as 1,500 people that were entries. And at the end of the 1969 or 1970 competition year, I think we had a membership in the Gulf Coast Surfing Association of close to 3,000 people.
It's a beautiful day, yeah, it's a beautiful day, yeah.
An interesting fact is, probably because Hurricane Katrina was so strong, Katrina of course moved into Louisiana, that shortly after that when Hurricane Rita formed, we thought at the beginning that it was going to be just like Katrina. Well, one of the factors that kept Rita from being as strong as Katrina is that Katrina, in stirring up the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, brought a lot of the colder waters that are down deep up toward the surface, and that tends to moderate the temperatures at the surface of the Gulf of Mexico. So Hurricane Rita didn't have warm waters to the same extent that Katrina did, and that's why, one reason, one of many, why Hurricane Rita was not as strong.
On September 21st, Rita became the most intense tropical cyclone ever observed in the Gulf of Mexico and made landfall on September 24th as a Category 3 hurricane.
When Hurricane Rita came, I decided I was heading south. We packed all our stuff up about 12 o'clock at night, got on the road. It took us about 5 hours to go our first 30 miles because there's that many people evacuating. And then we ended up driving all night and made it down there the next day.
I took a pretty long journey from Spain to come home and surf Hurricane Rita. I saw it on the news.
I was in Surfside, I think.
Bullshit, the hurricane was on the way to Surfside.
Oh, no, that's right. No, I was in Surfside. Seriously. It was terrible.
Cool.
No, it was pretty good.
I'll tell you what, though, that was basically the best day Texas is going to see for the next 20 years. So, basically, I'd wait another 300 days of flatness to have another day like that.
Live like you gonna die tomorrow. Wild like you are final flame. Why flash into the dark before the rain comes thundering down? Live like you gonna die tomorrow. Shoot your gun at the rising sun. Crash right into your walls and watch them all come crumbling down. kicks, get your kicks, sugar, get your kicks. I don't mind. Get your kicks, sugar, get your kicks. One last time. Get your kicks, sugar, get your kicks.
It was the ultimate season for the Texas Gulf Coast. I mean, ultimate season. Of course, you know, it was a double-edged sword. You know, we all felt bad for all the people, you know, across the other side of the building getting hammered while we're out frolicking about having fun. You know, that part wasn't real good for me, but, you know, like I said, I think it was probably a 25-year, once in every 25-year season, but it seemed like to me. I've lived here since '74. I've never seen anything like that in my life, ever.
Hurricane Rita, I tried to evacuate one time. It didn't work. So I came home. And then I kept watching the news and I was like, all right, it's time to evacuate. So we just loaded up the Hummer and took off down to South Padre.
Peeling, just meaty lefts, and everybody was getting wrecked on the jetties, and like, it was total mayhem, and it was sick, and we surfed our brains out, and then went home and had red tide lung for like a week.
And it's definitely the best surf I've ever seen in Texas to this day, and probably will be for a long time.
It's all an adventure. You pull over by Border Patrol, freaking finally leave California, and we're searching for some waves in Texas. Hours straight.
Just when we thought the hurricane season was over, Wilma entered the Gulf of Mexico on October 24th, bringing with her Josh Slay.
Like the perfect trip, you know, you just hope to get like all the drama, all the freaking all the glory, you know, anticipation. It had all those features to it. What more? It was like probably one of the most perfect times you could come to Texas. Like, by all means, I mean, the weather was unbelievable. The food, the drive, all the ups and downs on the road, just really good. It's what I would, you know. That's why I like to surf. You know, it's just you hope you have these trips, you know, consistently. Texas was really a great place.
Texas has one of the most comprehensive surf museums in the world, documenting the Texas surfing lifestyle, thanks to the efforts of Brad Lomax and Pat McGee.
Brad Lomax and a bunch of guys that resurrected this little area of downtown Corpus Christi made the coolest space for a surf museum. It's a Texas surf museum. And right away when you think of the history of Texas surfing, it doesn't sound like that much, but there's a great bunch of surfers and a great history to surfing. And the way they did it in the museum was so cool. This one whole wall was a giant map of the south of Texas. He had the little history of the start of surfing in each area, you know, from all the way down by Mexico, Port Isabel or whatever it is down there, all the way past Houston. And all the guys that were important and the guys that were a part of that whole development. And God, for me, it was like really educational.
Pat McGee had this amazing collection of not only just surfboards, but stuff, ephemera about surfing, going back to really its birth. And I've been telling Pat for years that we needed to get that out where people could see it. So through Pat's collection and him holding me hostage for a lot of money, we brought that collection, and the basis of the museum is the Pat McGee collection. The thing that's been really cool about it is that people from really all over the Texas coast have brought us stuff, and we have everything from these classic quality, you know, 70s transition boards to, you know, postcards from somebody's aunt while they were surfing in Hawaii. How surfing got started in Texas, the pioneers that developed the boards and first started shaping and had the first surf shops and brought the first surf movies. All of that is represented in here. The first year we opened up and we talked about Texas surf pioneers, and it was really cool to have Doc Paskowitz here. And then we went right into the beginning of our second year. Our first anniversary was hurricane surf in Texas, and it was, you know, beautiful that we had all of that footage from 2005, all those wonderful swells and amazing photographs and really amazing stories.
For most Texans, the 2005 hurricane season will be remembered for its powerful and deadly storms. But surfers remember it for the large, overhead surf rarely seen on the Texas coast. From the north at Meekums Pier to the southern tip of Texas, 2005 was an epic year for any surfer who paddled out. Predicting when the next big swell hits is a calculated science for just about any coastal area. But on the Texas Gulf Coast, any local surfer will tell you that the next big swell is less than 1 year away.
Take the time to look, took another look to find the ones you need. cold